Hello, passengers, co-pilots, shotgun callers, blunderbuss bellowers, and midnight riders. Welcome to another episode of Full Moon Empty Road. As always, I'm Jeremy, and I'll be your driver tonight. Hope everybody had a great week, and I hope you're ready for another road trip. We're staying in the South tonight, and we're headed to the French Quarter of Charleston, South Carolina. Destination 135 Church Street, Charleston, South Carolina, to the Dock Street Theater. So get in, buckle up, grab the rock salt, and let's ride. We have work to do. Welcome to the Dock Street Theater. The structure, which was built as a hotel in 1809 and converted to a theater in 1935, occupies the site of the first building in the 13 colonies designed for use as a theater. It has been on the National Register of Historic Places since 1973. The 1809 structure is the second version of the theater. So, with that being the second version, we're going to go back a little bit further. On February 12th of 1736, the original Dock Street Theater opened with a performance of George Farquhar's play, The Recruiting Officer. Built on the corner of Church Street and Dock Street, now known as Queen Street, the historic Dock Street Theater was the first building in America built exclusively to be used for theatrical performances. Flora, the first opera performance in America, took place at the historic Dock Street Theater. The original Dock Street Theater was probably destroyed by the Great Fire of 1740, which destroyed many of the buildings in Charleston's French Quarter. In 1809, the current building was built on the site as the Planters Hotel, and in 1835, the wrought iron balcony and sandstone columns of the Church Street facade were added. A number of notable people worked and patronized the Planters Hotel, including the noted 19th century actor Junius Brutus Booth. African-American Civil War naval hero and U.S. Congressman Robert Smalls, who stole a steamboat in this harbor and sailed it out past the Confederate-held Fort Sumter and turned it over to the blockading Union fleet, served as a waiter in the hotel's dining room before the war. Charleston's famed Planters Punch was first introduced here. After the Civil War, the Planters Hotel fell into disrepair and was slated for demolition. However, in 1935, at the height of the Great Depression, after Milton Pearlstein made the property available to the city of Charleston, and at the urging of Mayor Burnett Maybank and other notable citizens, the original building became a Works Progress Administration project. At that time, the present theater was constructed within the shell of the Planters Hotel. The hotel's grand foyer became the grand foyer of the theater, and the hotel's dining room now serves as the box office lobby. Douglas Ellington served as the architectural advisor for the project. Charleston architects Simons and Lapham then supervised the daily work while Ellington was in Washington, D.C. The woodwork and mantels of the second-floor drawing room were salvaged from the Radcliffe King Mansion roughly around 1799, which stood at the corner of George and Meeting Streets and was raised to build the College of Charleston Gymnasium, another WPA project. Modeled on 18th century London playhouses by Charleston architects and pioneering reservationist Albert Simmons, the present Dock Street Theater stagehouse and auditorium were built in the hotel's courtyard. Local carpenters who were put to work as part of this Depression-era relief effort used locally grown and milled native black cypress for the wooden interior. Following this $350,000 renovation, the historic Dock Street Theater's second grand opening took place on November 26, 1937. Notables in the audience included author Dubois Hayward, who was named writer in presence. The historic Dock Street Theater reopened for the third time on March 18, 2010, after a 3-year, $19 million renovation by the city of Charleston. So the Dock Street Theater over time has seen numerous restorations from the time it was, destroyed by the Great Fire, rebuilt, renamed. It's been through a lot. But yeah, 2010 was another one of the restorations that it went through. The extensive full-scale renovation brought the historic theater into the 21st century with state-of-the-art lighting and sound, modern heating and air, and new restrooms and seating. In addition, the theater was made seismically secure and fully handicapped accessible. Extensive soundproofing was added to ensure that outside noises no longer intruded on performances inside. Now owned and managed by the city of Charleston, the historic Dock Street Theater is home to many of the city's cultural institutions, including Spoleto Festival USA, Charleston Stage, which became the resident professional theater at the Dock Street Theater in 1978, produces over 120 performances each season and plays to more than 40,000 patrons annually. In addition, more than 15,000 South Carolina students enjoy special school day performances offered by Charleston Stage each year at the historic Dock Street Theater. So this theater has been around for more than 300 years, and surprise, surprise, it has some spirits wandering around. And I'm going to, here in just a second, I'm going to go into a rundown of the spirits that have been seen and are still wandering around. But I did want to make mention, the Dock Street Theater episode, I've kind of had that one on the back burner for a while. Mostly because it had a long history, but, it's just kind of one of those that's, it had a lot of things go on, but not a lot of information regarding those things. So, this is going to end up being a little bit of a short episode because we're about to move into the hauntings. And there's 2 or 3 prominent ones. I mean, there's been numerous sightings over the years of all sorts of things, within the theater. But there's 2 main ones. And one of them is actually a callback to the first couple of minutes of the episode. Anywho, the following comes from GhostCityTours.com. And aside from just wandering spirits, people have reported seeing a shadow in the rafters and a spirit on the stage. I don't know, maybe a ghostly stagehand and an apparition of a long-past actor, perhaps. While numerous sightings have been reported, there are 2 that really stand out. The first one I'm going to talk about is the ghost of Nettie. Nettie's story takes place when the Dock Street Theater was the Planters Hotel. Planters was a place of drinking, gambling, and a prostitution hotspot for Charleston's wealthy citizens. Nettie is thought to be Nettie Dickerson, and she came to Charleston in the 1840s to find love. Now, she's thought to be Nettie Dickerson, but at the same time, people have also just kind of given her the name Nettie, and she's really more just a nameless apparition that wanders the place. But, that is one of the people she is thought to be. She worked as a clerk at St. Peter's Episcopal Church. She was considered to be part of a lower class, and being 25 years old, she was also considered past her prime for being looked at for marriage. So she turned to prostitution. She was considered to be exceptionally beautiful, but age and station played too much of a factor. Fun for a night, but not for life. Nettie also had a habit of picking fights with her customers' wives, who would give her sour looks whenever they would see her out at church. And not pick fights as in she would go and, time to throw down kind of thing, but she would basically throw discretion to the wind. And her lack of discretion cost her many of her customers, and she quickly became penniless. Distraught, she snapped. Nettie went out onto the second floor balcony of the Planters while in her red dress and stayed out there despite the brewing storm. She began shouting out disparaging remarks against Charleston's high society, even as the storm intensified. The priest who she worked for at the church clerk job that she had, he still cared for Nettie and rushed out into the street and tried to reason with her. It's said that she then hollered down to him, "You can't save me." And as fate would have it, a bolt of lightning struck Nettie dead. While the Planters Hotel is long gone, Nettie's spirit can still be seen at the Dock Street Theater, red dress and all. The other spirit is said to be that of Junius Booth, and if you're wondering, yes, that is the father of John Wilkes Booth. Now, no one's quite sure why his ghost is haunting the Dock Street Theater. He wasn't even in Charleston at the time of his passing. He was miles away in Louisville, Kentucky. Aside from performing at the former hotel with his theater troupe and the rumor that he tried to kill the manager of the Planters Hotel, he doesn't really have any strong ties to the theater, to the building. Nothing to warrant haunting the building, which, I mean, he tried to kill a manager. I mean, I guess that runs in the family, wanting to kill leaders. But I would think something like that would actually cause enough high emotional charge that it makes sense. You know, maybe I wonder if there's a manager that's at the Dock Street Theater these days who is a particular target of his, if he is indeed seen there. But yeah, so that is the Dock Street Theater, one of the oldest theater in America. Let me know what you think of the episode. Like I say, I kind of had this one on the back burner and just kind of wanted to... It was one of those that I was like, well, I like the stories behind it, but it's not going to bring a lot of information to it. So, and I really couldn't decide on what to write on this week, so I went ahead and settled on it. But let me know what you think of it. And I want to say thank you to everyone who stopped by and listened to the episode today. I really appreciate it. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Both of those are at FMER Podcast. You can find me at Twitter at FullMoonEmptyRD. And you can find me on TikTok at FullMoonEmptyRoad. If you would like, you can also shoot me a line over to fullmoonemptyroad@gmail.com. You're more than welcome to suggest an episode. Or suggest a topic at least. I also do these short stories, I try to get out every week. You're welcome to suggest a short story as well. And while you're listening to this episode, feel free to go over to bonfire.com/full-moon-empty-road-classic/ and pick up a shirt, because I have merch now. And as of today, which today is, what is today? April 29th, I haven't made a single sale yet. So somebody go out there and buy one for me. Be a dear, please. But, again, I want to say thank you guys for stopping in and listening. Thank you to everyone I think we're up over 50 episodes now in total. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who has stuck around from the beginning, and thank you to anybody new who's joining in. But I hope you enjoyed the episode, and try and be back again next week for another History and Hauntings or Dark Words, Dark Things segment. Appreciate everybody again, and let's go home.